Welcome to the Four Rooms podcast, where we explore the four rooms of entrepreneurship: health, wealth, scale, and relationships. Each episode is dedicated to opening new doors and uncovering insights that empower you to design your entrepreneurial journey to be both lucrative and fulfilling. And now, your hosts, Amber Spears and Brett Kaufman.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Four Rooms podcast. I am your host, Brett Kaufman. I'm here with Joe Van. What's going on, my man? How are you?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It is near the end of the day here in Miami. It's actually raining, which I guess this is our winter. It rains here, but I love it. It's no cold weather, so it's a good trade-off.
Yeah, it's raining pretty hard here at the moment as well.
But is it cold? Does it get cold in Memphis?
Yeah, it's windy. The wind is where it's at. It's brutal right now. I'm not a fan. It's only like 40, but the wind chill is like 30.
Does it snow?
It's piercing. Like 1 or 2 days of the year.
Oh, that's it?
A lot. Yeah. And it sticks for like a day, but the whole city shuts down. It's a big deal.
So it's just like a gray, gross winter without the fun of snow.
Yeah, pretty much.
Lame. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like Atlanta.
Yeah, it's not enjoyable at all.
No. Like where I'm from, at least in Maryland, I used to live in Chicago, it's like you knew at least you were getting snow. So like, all right, the winter sucks, so I'm getting snow. It's a trade-off, so you're excited about that. But if I'm just thinking like medium cold weather with no snow, I'm like, this is silly.
Yeah, and when I lived in New York for a while, the snow there, it snowed all the time. So the cold wasn't so bad other than shoveling snow out of the driveway. But other than that, it was quite enjoyable.
Well, what brought you to New York?
Military. I was stationed up there for a few years.
Oh, no way. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
What'd you do?
Originally, I was infantry, and then I went to EOD school and did that for a few years.
Wow. How do you compare Memphis life and New York life, where you were at?
Completely different. First of all, New York, the sun never shines there ever. You might get 2 weeks out of the year where it's sunny, and then it's just always cold. In Memphis, you at least get all the seasons. So
that is fair. So how did you then transition from military to working with startups?
Before the military, I was a graphic designer. I did that for a while, and then the economy crashed in 2008, and then I just had my first child. So I had to do something, and my dream was always to be in the military, so I just went ahead and took that leap. The last few years while I was in the military, I started a new company just designing T-shirts because I miss graphic design. As I started doing that, I kind of started getting into the whole e-commerce side a little bit and the influencer marketing. And that company ended up becoming an influencer marketing agency. And I ended up traveling the United States doing photo shoots with all these different photographers and models and stuff, and worked with all these different companies. And then as I got out of the military, I sold the company, and then another company picked me up to help scale their business. And I did that for been doing that for the last 10 years.
Wait, wow. All right, there's a lot to unpack here. First off, I loved how you said that joining the military was always your dream. Is this because like your father or grandfather or family served in there?
No, honestly, I just always saw the guys on TV and just, man, I really want to do that. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that. And then, so you were getting into influencer marketing. What year was that?
That was 2013 when I first started. So Instagram was just getting going. So there was before those real influencers out there at the moment. So it was pretty new.
So what was the way what was the definition of an influencer back then?
So the way I pushed it was I would get all these companies together to put their products into a photo shoot and then help pay for the photo shoot. And then I would work with just these random models from different areas to collaborate on the photo shoot. And yeah, everything was paid for by these companies, and they got a bunch of content out of it, posted on their Instagram, and then everybody cross-promoted. So then it helped build everyone's Instagram pages up, and everyone's followings increased significantly and pretty quickly.
Now, did you recognize that Instagram was going to be this next big thing, or kind of like stumbled into it? Like, how'd that happen?
I kind of stumbled into it. It was all accidental. Again, I had no idea what I was doing. It was a t-shirt company originally, and then I started going to conferences while I was still in the military, and people had no idea what my company was or did, and neither did I at the time. I was just having a really good time traveling the U.S., doing these photo shoots with people, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good learning experience. It was I had no idea what I was doing.
I mean, clearly you had that some inkling because your business sold. How did that process come to be?
That goes back to me just not knowing what I was doing again. I was at the company, started out as a t-shirt company, ended up, more into photo shoots and working with companies, and it got to a point where I didn't know how to grow it anymore. So I just decided to get rid of it and to move on to something else.
So I love that your advice to people on how to sell their business is like, I don't know, it just happened. And it's like, that's,
Yeah,
buy Joe's book. He's ready. That's so funny.
right.
So you sold, okay, so you were in that space and then you ended up selling it. What'd you do? What'd you do afterwards?
Yeah, so one of the companies I worked with for the photo shoots picked me up pretty much immediately, and I started managing their marketing for pretty much 4 years, I believe. Yeah, and kind of scaled that to where I was managing, I think, between 5 to 10 companies at a time, helping their businesses grow as well.
And were you running the same strategy that you did the Instagram photo shoot?
No, different strategies. I mean, we tried a couple of times, and at that point, Instagram started to switch its algorithms and stuff like that. So doing that whole strategy became pretty difficult. You couldn't really cross promote as well as you could back then. So that strategy didn't really work, and that's when I really got more into the whole PPC side, digital advertising and stuff like that. And then I started learning more about the email marketing and kind of just grew with this company and learned everything I needed to know to help get this company off the ground and running. So it did really well. I mean, I was able to help them increase their sales by 300% in the first year. And again, I was learning everything along the way. I was winging it 100%. So it worked out.
See, something I appreciate about you, like you're very humble. But for the listeners that are listening to this, can you tell them what 300% actually means? You took it from X to Y. What's that look like?
Yeah, so they were around 30,000 a month, or 30,000, yeah, 30,000 a month, and I got them to around $100,000 a month within the first 12 months.
Huge. And what do you think was like a big driver behind that?
It was the digital advertising and the email combined. Didn't do a lot of the website side at that moment, but it was I came up with this really good ad campaign that it did really, really well. It was awesome, and it kind of blew up overnight when I launched the ad campaign.
And then you were saying that you started working with startups afterwards?
Yeah, so I went to a lot of conferences with that company and met a lot of other companies, kind of in a similar field, and we talked to a lot of them. And at the time, it was mostly military-related companies, and there's not a lot of military-related marketers out there. So anytime I met them, it was a really good opportunity for me to pick up
Sure.
new clients because it was a very small niche. So it worked out really well, and kind of kept growing those companies as well. So.
And I'm sure that's a bit of a trust factor as well. Like you guys get each other, you got that level bond, which is
Oh
good.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was definitely helpful.
So now you work with a lot of, you were saying this to me, you work with a lot of startup companies and you help them basically get ready for agencies, but making sure that they can set up their marketing to be successful before they end up paying fat retainers. There's nothing wrong with paying a good retainer if you're getting a good result, but I feel like a lot of people don't do that too soon. So how do you, I want to get clear on the story behind there. How did you transition to that period?
I'm not sure how the transition there happened. I've always enjoyed helping people get started. I know people would always come up to me asking questions, what they needed to do next, and it kind of just escalated. It went from, just something as simple as a logo or a website to I ended up, running their entire marketing department, so to speak. So it just kind of, I just kind of ran with it. Nothing was intentional by any means. I didn't try to grow it in that direction. I just enjoyed helping people get their business going.
Nice. And let's say a startup is approaching you now. How could you help them get to the next level?
So if they're, initially, if they're looking to get their product off the ground and they don't even know if their product's going to be successful or not, that's usually where I start at. So we try to get their product, at least on a website to see if people want to buy it, and then kind of see where it goes from there. And I'll launch their website for them. I'll build out their email marketing campaigns and their digital advertising. I do all the basics to see if their product will sell. And then we just kind of scale up from there, and then hopefully get them to the point to where they can bring on the marketing agency.
So what are you finding is like the top mistakes new startups are making when it comes to their marketing?
I wouldn't even say it comes down to the marketing. I think it comes down to just them not taking the leap. They focus so much time on making sure their product is perfect before they launch, and then they just end up wasting years of their life never taking that leap because they're scared it's not going to work. When nowadays you can launch a new business online for $50 without a
Oh
problem,
yeah.
and see if the product actually sells and see if people come back to buy it again. And it's very affordable. It's more affordable than ever, I believe. And it's yeah, people just don't take that leap to try it out. They just keep working on their product constantly. So yeah, they just got to take the leap.
So I'm sure a common theme is like someone will come to like a minimal budget, and that all is subjective based on the person. If they're like, Joe, like I need to know if this is going to work. This is all I got. Like, how do you think through the most effective way to get them at least the best data to know like how to optimize their business?
So initially, I'll start with the website just because it's a lot more flexible than platforms such as TikTok and Amazon, and that's where a lot of my experience is. It's more on the website side. So we'll start with the website, and then we'll just try driving traffic or awareness to the brand or the website, and see what happens from there, and then try to build off that data that we've collected from that.
And I know it's like probably specific based upon the different product, but let's say you're running a test campaign. Are you trying to like, or are you trying to find an influencer first? Are you trying to do a UGC about us founder story, like a product story, testimonial? Like, what do you like if you're like, I got to get this first ad to do well? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I'll come up with a basic ad first, something that's extremely affordable. So like a picture of the product or a lifestyle image with the product in it, and start an ad campaign with that first, something extremely affordable, and then start with a very small budget, something like $20 a day, and hopefully we launch that ad campaign with the goal of at least breaking even, so that we can keep the ad campaign running. But from all the advertising I've done, normally when we first launch that super low cost campaign, normally we double that, and we can scale that budget pretty easily after that. So it gets them more motivated as well, as seeing that the sales come in those first couple of days from launching
Oh,
those
sure.
campaigns, and they get a lot more excited about it. So they start reaching out to influencers, and they start answering all the customer emails, and it just snowballs after that.
And at what point do you think that they're ready then for a larger marketing agency?
I'd say when they're closer to somewhere between 500,000 to a million a year, as where I'd say start looking for a marketing agency, and then from that point, I would take a step back and then kind of be the liaison for them and the marketing agency, because the marketing agency still needs a lot of direction to get going, and to work with them. And a lot of the startups that I work with, they don't know anything about marketing, so I kind of step back as more of a consultant at that point and help guide both sides.
So let's say like a listener right now is in that phase of they have a U, and then they're flirting with marketing agencies, but they don't want to be taken advantage of. Like, what questions should they be asking? How should they be vetting them?
So yeah, I think the biggest thing when bringing on a marketing agency is making sure that you can comfortably afford them for at least 3 months before you start seeing a return. I know the marketing agencies are really good, or sometimes really good at selling themselves,
Yeah.
and they have high expectations for what they're going to do because they're trying to close the deal. So I would say I would expect at least 3 to 6 months before you start seeing the return, before you start breaking even with them. So make sure that you can afford them for 3 to 6 months before you start seeing that return.
That's a great tip right there. So you've been to one of our events before, and you'll also be joining us in Austin, which is very exciting. For anyone that's listening, can you describe what it was like coming to our annual event in last year's Orlando, this year's in San Diego?
It was, I mean, to put it in one word, it was amazing. Honestly, it was one of the best trips I've ever been on. The level of people at that event was insane. I was speechless to even get invited, honestly. But all the people I met there were just, to get all the experience that I got from these people. They were on a completely different level in their life than what I'm on, was amazing. So I got to ask real questions to all these people that have been through a lot more than I have when it comes to the business side. So it was just yeah, amazing.
Do you have like a particular takeaway that you can tie into like a revenue activity, something like that?
So yeah, the last day of the event was I got a chance to sit down with Ryan Moran, who I didn't get the chance to meet at his conference several months earlier. I finally got a chance to sit down with him, and the advice he gave me with my hair grooming company brand was one of the best pieces of advice that I got while I was there, and it was awesome. So I left, leave just that part alone. I left that conference just thinking the whole trip was well worth it. Just that moment alone.
I love that. And what are you most excited about for coming to see us again in Austin?
Reconnecting with you guys. Haven't seen you guys in months, so to be able to reconnect and follow up with other conversations that we didn't get to finish, or just see where everyone's at since we parted ways. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Good. Well, we're excited to have you. So as we wrap up, we do something that's my favorite part of it. It's called One Hot Minute. Now, One Hot Minute, I want you to think of something. It could be a mantra, piece of advice. It could be something you read in a fortune cookie that it just helps you when skies are gray, that you go to. So it's the whole idea of the One Hot Minute is that if someone just listened to this one clip of the podcast, they heard this piece of advice, and they're like, wow, that was super helpful.
Yeah, I would have to go back to the taking that leap. Just if you have an idea or for a product or a business, just get out there and try it out, see what happens. The worst thing you could do is sit there for a whole year and just waste your time and not take that leap. Then you're going to look back and see that you wasted all that time. Even if you do launch it eventually, you're going to see how much time you wasted by not taking that leap initially. So yeah, just get out there and jump into it and try it out and see what happens.
Amazing. And the absolute last question is, where can people find you if they want to learn to work with you?
Yeah, so my agency's name is, or I say agency, my consulting agency is called littleheromedia.com. So you'll be able to find me there.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we wrap up today's episode, we have something special just for you. If you've been inspired by what we've explored today and you're ready to take your learning to the next level, then our 4 Rooms Mastermind live event is the perfect next step. And because you're a part of our podcast family, we're offering an exclusive 10% discount on your registration when you apply and are accepted. This is your chance. It's your chance to build relationships with other ambitious entrepreneurs like yourself, to dive deeper into the 4 rooms of entrepreneurship, and to connect with experts who can truly help accelerate your growth. Simply follow the event link in the description of this episode and use the promo code 4rooms10. That's FOURROOMS10 on your application to claim this opportunity. This offer is subject to application approval and it's limited, so don't wait too long to make your decision. Join us and transform your journey with the insights and networking that only our live events can offer. Thank you for tuning in today. We look forward to seeing you at the event and, of course, right back here next time on the 4 Rooms podcast. Until then, keep balancing and keep growing.